So much riding on this one.
Kieran Jack to Brent Harvey.
You're a genius. So away we go, and a very good bounce to start proceedings. Going back is Kirk. Lays it off. The kick down towards half forward came from O'Keefe. This is Moore. Moore is centering one. Not a bad one either. And the mark is held by the man pushing up Jolly. He contested at the centre moments ago. Beaten by McIntosh. But he took off forward once he realised Sydney were controlling the footy.
They moved that ball particularly well, and just as well White saw out of the corner of his eye Jolly coming into that space, because he charged from the top of the square. He had his sights on taking his first mark in AFL football. Umpires this afternoon, McLaren, Ryan and Avon. Umpire Ryan setting the mark. Jolly comes in, kicks from 35 and splits the middle. That's what the modern day ruckman does. He waits to see which way the ball's going to go, and then he bounds into the forward line, into that space. Generally it's on the opposite side to where the ball actually enters. Here's the centre clearance again. Jolly is there, he's up in the ruck, he sees they're going to win the ball, and then he shoots into the forward line as quickly as he can, and that's a terrific kick to that space. Swirled straight around, and there's Jolly again, appearing about 20 metres out from the top of the square. Good running.
Third week in a row, Jolly's kicked a goal. O'Keefe was clever there. He started at half forward. When the bounce took place, he quickly went to the wing and got on his own and got that first disposal. Simpson, the captain, puts the Kangaroos into their forward 50.
Had no chance. It's held to him. Thanks, guy.
Looks like Barry's got the job on Thompson, Tim, and
yes, he'll do him for height, but Barry will be good on the rebound.
So Jolly wins that one, uncontested in the end. Roberts Thompson to Bolton, and Bolton with a bit of a torpedo gets it forward. Ferrito read it really well on O'Loughlin and sweeps a handball, really ineffective in the end. Goods. Well done by Wells to Harvey, to Power, back to Harvey. And then Sinclair smothered by Matner. O'Loughlin handballs to space basically, not effective. Coming back from Rawlings to Watt, and then Watt squeezes wide, and Ferrito gets the ball at centre wing.
Gee, they rate Thomas. They've put Bolton. Craig Bolton's gone to Thomas.
He was very good last week, Thomas. Searching kick and a beauty. Edwards on the lead, found it 55 metres out, long down towards full forward. Big leap at the back from Jones, didn't stick. Bevan got the crumb, comes away, goes to the outer side and more. Nothing much on. Although White is breaking for him. He's got the ball now.
Dennis.
Gee, that was quick, wasn't it? The acceleration off the mark. Still outside the 50. Buchanan. The umpire.
Two separate actions.
That was
Three kicks here.
umpire's explanation there. Two separate actions. That was really impressive from White. Started at centre half forward. And Shannon Watt is a very quick player, but just burned him off as he led to the ball.
When White had that ball, pretty deserted forward line up ahead. Here's Wells, need a big game from him. Close to the boundary line. Takes something off the kick. Lead comes from Thompson. Thompson marginally forward of the wing. Early going, Sydney by a goal. Thompson goes for distance, gets under it too. Kennelly from behind, a fist, a timely one, thumped it down in front. Kirk went to ground. That's Bevan in there. Jones had it momentarily. Grant wide of the pack, feeds it back to Thompson, sends it in a second time towards the pocket this time. Bolton and Thompson, or rather Thomas, the matchup that Tim was talking about, is out of bounds.
That's a really smart matchup too, because Thomas can actually mark for a small player, and I think Paul Roos in the matchup deciding would have been concerned about his ability to win those one-on-one contests in the air.
Umpires, Ryan, I should say, Avon and McLaren.
That's a good tackle. Good tackle. No prior up though. Held to him. Great tackle.
Going to see a lot of this team, a lot of stoppages, a lot of tackling, a lot of hard in and under, aren't we?
Don't block around.
They both love trench warfare, these two sides.
On this Anzac weekend, they will play with plenty of spirit, these two, you'd reckon. McVeigh to Goods. Clever handball, actually, to Bolton, to Goods again. Runs his full measure, kicks wide. White and Ferrito. Ferrito playing cleverly down the line, and then runs away from White, and then bangs it back into the 50. Front spot, Thompson. Taken by Richards to Kennelly. All danger. Simpson picked it off. Ball to be won. Edwards. Barry was strong. Here's Bolton, Craig, and he's away. Good kick to McVeigh. He's had a spectacular start to this season.
Career best form. Feeds it to a runner alongside. Mackner has been wonderful value. Touched off the boot, stifled, wanders down towards half forward. Thompson is claimed, and the umpire goes across and will bounce.
They've been rebounding well, Sydney, but they just haven't been able to penetrate the Kangaroo defence. They've got a spare player back there. They've just got to be a little bit smarter and show a bit more poise when they come forward. Thomas coming off the ground, Campbell coming on.
That was Ed Barlow in repose there on the boundary.
Against you.
Not unlike Cameron Ling.
You're grabbing him from behind like this. Brody Royce.
Interesting from Laidley. Already he's testing Bolton. He's decided, OK, run Thomas on him for a couple of minutes, put the other smaller player there too, Campbell, who's probably a little bit quicker than Thomas.
Wells dropped his simple mark after Rawlings got a free. A tagger rewarded with a free kick, and back he comes. That was strong on Bolton, and I think he was right. I think it was high initially. Rawlings can't believe it. Twice best and fairest. Certainly North Melbourne don't underestimate his value. And this is Jolly who got the early goal.
70 or 80 metres out. Kicks to the pocket. O'Keefe was third man out. And then hooks back to the goal square. Lachlan and Ferrito. Bouncing ball. And punched through by Petrie. The way to go.
I think that's a good matchup on North Melbourne's behalf. Ferrito on O'Loughlin. He's a good strong body player, Ferrito. Sam Powell's actually running with goods now. I'd be a little bit concerned with that matchup, but we'll see how it pans out over the afternoon.
Wells' kick was in the direction of Grant. Bevan's hands okay to Barry. And then Barry, neat kick to Mackner. And Tim, you talked about high possessions before the match for Sydney defenders. Mattner's a good case. He averaged 15 really at the Crows wherever he played, and he's up to around 20 so far this season with the Swans. Gee, O'Keefe started well, hasn't he?
The only thing letting him down at the moment is his inaccuracy around goal at set shots.
For a guy that size, he's wonderful overhead. That's barely 15. Moore's got it right on the 50. Just chips to the pocket. McVeigh.
Jared, you got to come back on your line where you were. That's it. This is the mark here.
23 possessions last Saturday. His career high 26 against the West Coast Eagles in round 16 last year. As I said, career best form though. He's now starting to string it together. He's missed this one. Just across the front of goal. They compete right against the behind post. That's still a live ball, is it? Or did it strike the post on the full?
O'Loughlin's pleading his case. That was really smart play just to try and keep the ball alive by knocking back in play.
Didn't seem to hit the post to me. Watch it again. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I'll just take my tablets and
check your eyes.
Lie down.
Richards high fly. So Sydney with the 2 scores on the board. Kangaroos have had the ball inside their 50 a few times. I feel like it's going to be an arm wrestle for a fair while. Harris.
Play on, it's come out. Play on, it's out.
Campbell came back onto the ground replacing Thomas, and now Teddy Richards is picking him up, and Bolton's come off the ground. So they're continually rotating those players. Just see if they can free one of those players up the Kangaroos too. Thomas coming back onto the ground now. He'll slip into the midfield.
Play on.
McVeigh, quick kick forward. O'Loughlin and Ferrito. O'Loughlin, pretty well done. Lower was able to cut it off. He had a very good match last week, Lower. And that was clever by Thomas. Some smart thinking out there today. We've seen it in the last couple of minutes from both sides. Well, Thomas and Campbell were the two that did the damage late last week deep in the forward line. It'll be interesting to see whether Laidley plays them both forward late in the match if it's tied again. Bird was trying to get the ball forward. O'Keefe busy. To Ablett, to Goods, who's had a bright start. Here's the new fella White. Now Kirk's on the right side for him, and he hooks the ball back to about 25 metres, but ill directed in the end, and Watt able to run onto it.
Sydney by 7 points. Watt finds Hale in midfield, runners alongside. Thought about Harvey, now he uses him. Harvey runs inside the centre square. No sign of Jack. 60 metres out, kicks down towards the pocket. Leading back is Campbell, can't keep it in. Quick transference though, one into the other.
I like that matchup for the Kangaroos. Campbell's now been picked up by Mattner. And now Bevan will go to him too. So there's a lot of shuffling that's going on in the Swans defence at the moment. All that being initiated by Laidley.
Here's White from behind Hale. Hale knocks it down in front. Kennelly a half chance. Harris, brilliant balance. Oh, momentarily put down there by Buchanan, who was waiting for him. And the ball is out of bounds, or is it a free kick? No, it's out of bounds. That's perfect by Buchanan. Did nothing wrong there.
Look at the players around this contest.
That was interesting too. Harris had the momentum. Buchanan virtually stopped. Here's Grant. Watt. Power. Trying to get through there was Jones in the opposite direction. O'Keefe held by Jones. 12 minutes out from quarter time, and Sydney have made just the start they wanted. This game is very much at their tempo.
And not one player in Sydney's half at the moment.
In fact, Tim, 40 players are inside the forward 50 for the Kangaroos. Quick kick away. Can't be 40 because there's 36 out there. 32.
It's just doing a quick calculation.
Yeah, you looked at me. I was just seeing how bright you were today. Lachlan's kick. Free kick to Davis, who started interchange and came on, and he's going to go quickly to McVeigh in a one-out situation. Well done, Harding, to get back. And Buchanan and Harding, gee, they got down there quickly, didn't they?
That was fantastic play there by Harding, who's just reinvented himself this year as a defender. Here's the free kick to Nick Davis. Gee, there wasn't a lot in that, but we've seen those sorts of free kicks paid all year.
Sinclair, good to see him back, close to the boundary line. Hugs that boundary line with a kick. Hale comes on the angle, hands to it, falls behind. Campbell releases it perfectly. Harvey inside the forward 50, running back with a flight. Is Barry not required? It bounces out of bounds.
He's given them a lot of pace off their half back line, Harding. Something that they were missing last year. He just gives them that X factor running and carrying the ball.
Plenty of changes at the moment. McVeigh's off. Quite a contrast as Jolly comes on. There's White crouched against Hale. Well, they don't compete. Thompson won it down. Harris gave it across to Thomas, and he hand passes out of bounds. So at the moment, North Melbourne can't find space.
You reckon that'd be the key to when you're playing the Swans during the week? You'd be practicing in close quarters a lot, wouldn't you?
They are the stoppage geniuses, they are. A little bit of claret there running from the eye.
Clock stopped.
You're onto that, Den. So Bevan
Luke, just watch
coming from the ground.
Mate. Make sure you're not wrapping your arms around him, okay? You are being watched from behind and in front.
Craig Bolton to come back on. Just caught the elbow probably there.
Yeah, no probs.
It was tucked in, but it's got him right above the eye. He'll be replaced by
okay, we're watching.
Craig
Bolton.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll pick up one of those quick, short players for the Kangaroos.
Don't hold!
Hear the call from the ump. So Hale front spot. Richards worked it well, then didn't take it cleanly. Goods, clever handball again. Ablett, that was good because he had to try and brush aside the tackler Power, and he did.
Goods has already had 5 touches. I don't think Sam Power's the player that's actually going to be able to hold him.
Can you find one?
Well,
if he's in real good form, which one would you pick?
I think Simpson has played on him in the past, or Rawlings their best tagging player.
Simpson and Kirk seem to be running together at the moment. Here's Harding, high ball. Thompson's in a good spot, and he was able to slip Barry. It was a bit of a miss kick, but he ran to the space and took the mark.
Very little space to run into inside their 52. It was a miss kick, came off the side of his boots. This is Harding, and it was an up and under. And as always, or on most occasions, it's the forward that actually reads the ball best off the boot.
I reckon one of the features of this year have been Bradshaw and Thompson's comebacks. I mean, both big forwards. Bradshaw's been terrific, as we know, and Thompson's been very, very solid. It's been averaging basically 3 goals a match. That is a bad miss against a team that doesn't give you many chances. 40 metres out, straight in front.
With the roof closed, no air, no wind.
Interesting as Sydney try and create some space for Goods in midfield. The ball goes wide. Goods is running now. Power trying to get back in touch. It was Jude Bolton that took him out of the contest initially. Goods is still running. Roberts Thompson's got it. He got it from Matner, and Goods has got it now. Sharp angle. O'Loughlin slipped over. Well, he got the wheels skidding on the forklift.
It's out of bounds.
It's out of bounds in the pocket.
Now Sam Power has to know that that's how Goods played. He looked at him 3 times, had the opportunity to run harder and pick him up, and elected not to do that. The message will come out from Laidley right now.
In fairness to Sammy, caught one from Jude Bolton, who worked him about 10 metres off Goods and had him on the back foot. They were working in tandem and Goods took off. Harris feeds it back to the square. Ferrito retreats. And I suppose coming into this game, getting the matchup right on Goods is very important because it came in out of form. What you don't want to do is get the matchup wrong to start and play him back into form. This is Harris.
I didn't think he was that bad last week against the Geelong side. I thought Ling did a pretty good job on him, but there are times where he actually broke free, particularly from the stoppages, and looked dangerous.
So Edwards on a long, hard lead there.
That's a good matchup. Richards on Edwards, been good this year, Teddy Richards. He's very athletic.
McIntosh worked under it by Jolly.
Knock it out, Turkey, knock it out, knock it out.
It's the right decision. You see where the ball is.
And they're good at locking the ball down, even though they haven't been able to get a clear clearance. They're good at actually locking the ball in there, just forcing another stoppage here and then resetting.
Ricky Olorenshaw.
Just saw a shot of Paul Bevan. They've been able to stop the bleeding pretty quickly. Problem was they couldn't find his spare jumper. He was ready to come back on, but the Property Steward could not find a number 42 jumper at the bottom of the bag.
Good stuff. So Wells is kick inside. O'Keefe, slick handball. So the miss by Hale. It was a low ball, not the easiest one. Buchanan to Matner. Or rather Barry, I should say, who goes back. He was strong there, Barry. And then Davis switches to Bolton. Now he wanted to go to Bird, but decided against it.
Struggling to find a way in the Kangaroos. They're a great defensive unit, this Sydney Swans unit. Still ranked #1 in the competition.
So Bolton goes to a contest. Fly from the small fella in Moore. Ball was knocked out. Harris has been busy. Now Thomas gets it back to Thompson. He's playing his first game since round 1. And then Thomas got himself into a bit of a spot there. And it's a boundary throw-in.
Just get the feeling, Tim, it's North Melbourne who have made the concessions to the other team. They're obviously a team that's put a lot of thought into Sydney's game. Sydney come at you with the same thing virtually every week. Sydney just playing their game. North have gone away from theirs at the moment. McIntosh over the top. Bird is an up-and-comer. Kirk, wonderful player. Not such a wonderful hand pass. Petrie came in at hardest and deserved it. Goes to Wells. Wells swings it out wide. That's better. Now Thomas can run at them. One-on-one all down the ground. Now Sydney have got the extra man back. It's Bolton. Thomas lines up. Bolton gets to the contest and wins the ball. Son of a gun. Matner drives it back to the outer side. Ablett gathers the bouncing ball. Wants a runner. Decides to kick now. Moore, short man, lower, tries to punch it towards the boundary. Moore leads back in the race. Lower and closer tended. Strong tackle. And Lower got him down, and the umpire has called for a ball. Lower wore number 25 last season. He's down to number 2 this year. We were talking about the property man a moment or two ago. Well, obviously the property man thought that was an instruction and not a name. Knocked down by Jolly. Ablett dragged down. We'll have a ball up.
How low can you go, eh? And he's on a low guy today and more. Not low only because he's not very high.
Who's on first?
Oh. Here is that fella I was talking about, Moore. That little fella, but he's very good. Kirk, that's a great kick to Bird. In fact, I'll just expand for a moment. Paul Roos has brought a lot of short guys in. I mean, Bird's not a big guy. Jack's not a big guy. Moore's been around a bit, but he's not a big guy.
They're all powerfully built, though.
Yes.
They've got a low centre of gravity. They've got good, strong bodies on them. And that's, well, when you know the game type that you're going to play, then you can go out and recruit accordingly.
So Bird without a goal in AFL footy until now. He's got his first. Swans away a bit.
That was a wonderful kick then by Brett Kirk, and he looks such an unlikely type of AFL player, but he's just a beautiful fit for the way that Paul Roos wants to play his football. Here it is. Here's the handball. Just a quick release there. Kirk had a quick look over his shoulder, sized it up, got the ball to Bird, and he's finished off. And at the moment, the game is actually being played the way Sydney want to play this game.
Well, if you pardon the pun, I don't think Sydney would give number 14 away to any fly-by-night. Skilton, Kelly, famous number.
Rawlings has gone to Goods now. Sam Power's off the ground, so that may be just caught in a rotation.
Knocked down. McIntosh intercepted by Ablett though. Chance for Simpson. Combines with Harris. Constantly under pressure at the moment, North. Taken high with Sinclair, no free. Buchanan. Bolton knocks it to his own advantage. Plenty of help around. Goes back to O'Keefe. Looping hand pass to Kirk. 70 metres out, just sets it up. That's a well-weighted kick. Always put Davis in the box seat.
Beautifully called then, Dennis, and that's exactly what he did the first time round, Kirk. It was a smart kick into the forward line to set the first goal up. He looked up, he saw that Davis was behind his direct opponent, just weighted the ball beautifully against Harding into his favourite territory, and Davis did all the rest because he is a smart and intelligent player.
Getting dangerous now for North. Nick Davis missed a couple last week, uncharacteristically, right behind him on this one. And they did the same thing last week. They swung away violently to the right. He's done it again here. So a couple of reprieves for North.
6 shots to 1. So and when we think back to Friday night, one of the things we sort of got lost was that Freo were 3-6 to 1 1/4 time, weren't they? They had a lot of the ball early, but that did take a lot of twists and turns. That was a maze in the end.
It can hurt you, can't it? If you don't put the goals on the board when you get the opportunity. Power's gone back to Goods, but he's lost him at this stoppage.
Hale to Simpson, who had to get rid of it in a hurry, and then Ablett. Again, just no space. They're strangling them at the moment. Wells read it best. He just couldn't get to it. And then Jack to Bolton to Goods, I reckon. No, he went the kick. He had a handball onto Goods. Sinclair gets it out of the danger zone. Back to Craig Bolton. Harvey with him. Buchanan to Jack. Handball cut off by Sinclair and Wells and Harvey. So Harvey getting plenty of it.
Down the ground and then bring it back. It's a free kick to Brent Harvey, but it's down the ground because it was for a late tackle. Adam Simpson.
So Harvey may get it back, you know. It goes to Power instead, and then Power to the pocket. Jones, who we haven't seen really anything of so far. And also Sainsbury, who's come in today for Jesse Smith, and a boundary throw-in. And they need a goal, the Kangaroos, just to get things happening here. They've had a few chances. They've been inside 50 a few times, but not for a while.
Dean Laidley. His good friend Darren Buick down on the front row there. Matner tied up. We'll have a bounce. 2 former West Perth boys, Laidley and Buick. And in the opposite corner, Paul Roos at ground level. Charging into that pack was Rawlings. Down goes Power. Was he pushed in the back? Against Goods.
Go through, mate. No. No, you've propelled him forward into the ground. So it's a free kick for in the back.
Just tell the umpire to have a look. I reckon he's got a point there, and this is what a lot of players are doing now. When they're tackled, they're actually just falling forward in the tackle, and they're convincing the umpire they've been pushed in the back. There was no push in the back there whatsoever.
No. Goods did the right thing. Tried to turn him and went to the side. Power is a good long kick. Is he accurate? No. Hangs it out to the left.
So, Tim, they've had 2 shots for goal, the Kangaroos, from set shots. Both should have been kicked. Power and Thompson, if they were kicked, they'd be within a kick.
2 balls on the ground. 2 balls on the ground. Thanks, Marty. Sorry, mate. Now you're right to go.
Against this defensive unit, they're not going to get that many opportunities this afternoon, and they need to take them. 2 set shot within kicking range. You're right, they needed to nail them.
So here's Matner. Gee, I'm fascinated to see how Matner's career unfolds at Sydney. He's had a good start. He was a nervous player at Adelaide. He'd get disorientated at times. He'd run too far with the ball. Certainly skillful. Had a couple of really good years before he fell out of favour. But the discipline of Sydney, you think, might be just what he needs, the way they're so structured on the field. And Neil Craig plays a bit like that too, doesn't he? Here's Jack. Although Keefe was held on to. Jack's little kick is a good one. This is where they're so efficient, aren't they?
Yep. Plenty of space to operate in here too.
So Moore. Now he's got O'Loughlin deepish, and that's the way he's gone. It's a lovely kick. Davis didn't quite take it. O'Loughlin was stiff, I reckon. And it's a behind.
You called it beautifully too. It was a lovely kick. He saw that O'Loughlin had actually darted into that space behind Ferrito, and the kick had the travel, but they just got a little bit disconnected there.
Well, I think Davis was a little confused as to what happened to O'Loughlin. distracted. That was his ball from the moment it left the boot. I would have thought Davis coming across on the angle. So another bullet dodged by North, who are less than impressive at the moment. This ball just pushed across the line by Bird.
They just can't get any separation, the Kangaroos, to get the ball into the open and actually use their pace. They've got some quick players out there, but they haven't had any room whatsoever to move in.
Longer it goes, the more space they'll find, but they need to be close enough to take advantage of that. As Simpson gives it to Harvey, that's better. Getting some separation there on the leaders. Jones wants to move it quickly. Kennelly is flooding back. They've got the numbers back, but he kicks for space to the other side. Edwards comes up and claims the mark. Beautiful kick by Jones.
Back 2 minutes, he marked it and then went forward.
A sea of red was running back towards about 20 metres out from goal. Edwards went past them as they were coming in, sets it up. It's a poor kick. And this boy looks very promising. They've got some big bodies. You don't see too many youngsters coming to the Sydney team that are scrawny, Tim, whether they be short or tall.
Pick 79, 06 he was too. I mean, it's almost like a Hail Mary pass, isn't it?
It's pretty low down. Yeah, you can't see Justin Westhoff at Sydney right now, can you? A guy with a build like that, it's just the way they seem to work it, isn't it? Mickey O'Loughlin said one of those quarters he slipped over when he looked certain to mark a good goal, a pass I should say, a moment earlier, and then that one, Chihavi, 6 disposals, so he's had a pretty bright start. Sinclair we've talked about, too far for Thompson. Goods has been just terrific. He's responded beautifully. That's a smother though by Thompson.
If I was Nathan Thompson, I'd be going to the umpires at quarter time. I'll be sending someone to them, making the point that Leo Barry's a lot shorter. Took his hands out in that last contest. Just watch this. Smart play, but just dragged his arm out.
He just spoke to the umpire then as you were chatting to him.
He's undersized. He's a smart player, Leo Barry, but that's what he does week in, week out against bigger opponents. Good strong tackle. They'll need to do that consistently this afternoon, North Melbourne.
So Goods over the back, third man up. Jack was pretty good.
He was pushed in the back, I thought. No, free. That looked a push in the back as Power got it from Hale. Kicks inside the forward 50, and a very clever mark is taken by a very clever player.
That's a bad miss by the umpire, though. He was definitely pushed in the back then. Kieran Jack, here's a replay of it. There, bang.
There's no doubting that, is there?
Sam Power gets a free kick within goal kicking range before, and that one gets unsighted.
Jones, what a fine player he's become. So dangerous. And this, a very important kick to restore some faith. 1-5 last week. Needs some faith in himself. There we go, he puts it through. Will it kickstart the Kangaroos?
Glenn Archer spoke about him during the week. He cannot believe that he hasn't been included in the state game. He is a wonderful player. This is a really good kick to his favoured side here too. Just moving Matner out of the way. I mean, that was almost technically a free kick then to Matner too, the way he moved him out of the range. But the thing about Sydney is that they don't score that heavily that you find yourself completely out of the contest.
It's going to make a big difference to his day, you'd reckon, that first shot after what happened against Collingwood. He had so many opportunities before half-time. The Kangaroos have not trailed at quarter-time this year. They're going to do that here, but I reckon they'll take what they've got right now, considering, unless there's a goal right now, considering what's happened in this first part, and there will be a goal, you'd think, because Davis just too easy there against Harding.
That was another beautiful kick there by Kieran Jack. He's only a little fellow, but he kicks the ball with great depth and penetration. I don't think that's the ideal matchup for Harding in the goal square either, to be on somebody as clever as Davis.
Well, we saw him
one-on-one. He's not going to be a great player, Harding.
Saw him miss a slightly harder shot than this, but he has got the goal, and that gives Sydney a handy break, and they've earned it at quarter time. They've made all the running here at the Dome. So Davis and Jones both missing a couple last week, more than a couple in Jones's case. Get the last two in the last minute. At quarter time, it's 23-8.
Sydney have been dominant so far. A long way to go. Hale, sweep at it. I think Jolly won it, knocked it down. Harris, 6 possessions to him, back down to the pack. This is Ablett, who goes to half forward. The mark is taken by Buchanan, falling forward to space. McVeigh inside the 50. The bounce held him up. Now he's got a problem. Simpson came to him. Still McVeigh. Good looking snap. No, it wanders offline. A real bow on that one. Out of bounds on the full. Ferrito wasting no time. Nips it back to Harris.
Laidley's made the move too. Harding's gone up the field onto Buchanan, and Lauer now has gone deep on Davis.
Petrie. Neat kick to Wells, who had a good opening term and a fair bit of it.
Gee, Harvey worked hard. He started almost centre half forward to push to that ball.
He was averaging 26 disposals, Harvey, and he was right on the knocker with 7 in the opening term. Finds Jones.
This is their tempo football. They often slide into this when things aren't working their way, the Kangaroos. They're good at maintaining possession, generally.
It's not a great kick to Petrie. Then Petrie goes back to Thompson, who's come up the ground. So the Swans getting back, as they always do, in big numbers. And again, Petrie, the man they've used.
He's on the wing. Play on's the call, so eventually he just lobs it in. You'd score that as a victory for Sydney. Jack was the target. Harvey. Well, Jack made himself the target, more especially stepped in front. Harvey a half chance, spilt it. Then in goes O'Keefe, held up, and will have a ball up.
It's a good rule at that 15-second rule to get the ball on, isn't it? To force that kick. Eventually they end up having to kick to that contest.
Kennelly moves at about 15 metres. Sliding in out there was Harvey. Harris taken down. Harvey goes again. Kennelly. They missed him last week. Did brilliantly. Kirk. Barry. And now they surge down the field. This is Barlow. Looks to the right, looks to the left, and then kicks. Buchanan, that was a push in the back.
Free kick. Bring it back, please. Just place the hand there. Free kick.
So they've made a change there. Harding has gone to Buchanan, and now Davis is being run with by Lower. I'm sure they've noticed something with Harding. Every ball has come in long, trying to favour a man at the back. That time, Buchanan was the man.
They're picking him off, aren't they, Dennis?
Yes, around the outer side goes Hale. Long bomb just beyond the wing. Some holding. Petrie paid the advantage. Now the big guy can go for a run. A couple of bounces. The earth is moving just outside the 50. Well, not sure about the kick. Grant got hands to it. Harvey again ran into a dead end. Swings around. Touched off the boot, I think. Doesn't matter. It was offline. Minor score.
Just the one goal for Harvey in the first 5 weeks, which is probably a surprise considering he's such a great goal kicker and has had such a terrific season.
Well, Bruce, I like him as a ball carrier further up the ground, and now that they've got Thomas and Campbell that they can rotate inside their 50, they don't actually have to use him at that part of the ground so often.
On a normal week, they've got a lot of goal kickers, haven't they? With Jones, another, Edwards, another, Thompson, another. A heap of guys to go to, but just the one so far today. It was Jones in the opening turn, so Jude Bolton back to Richards, and then Richards sweeps the handball. No danger there. Now Matner, this is what he loves to do, is to run and set up. Barlow didn't have a disposal in the opening turn. This is his second early in the second quarter, and that's a nice looking kick. Jolly free kick against him.
Realistic attempt to mark. Advantage, advantage.
So a couple of free kicks against Jolly in the early stage of the second term. Wells away, and then times a long kick to Thompson on a big lead. Barry rode him into the ground. Grant, just a couple of handballs so far for him today. That's not a good one. And Bolton to clean up, and the Swans through Bevan running hard.
Bevan goes a fair way, drives it down towards half forward. Nobody inside the 50. No one's required. Ferrito takes the mark and will get 50 as he was claimed by O'Loughlin. 10 goals for the season for that man, Michael O'Loughlin. Only Bob Pratt has kicked more goals for Sydney, South Melbourne. And Michael won't catch him. Ferrito inside the forward 50. Jones almost. Richards could have been tripped. There's my man Jack. Love him. Gets a hand pass out to Barlow. Barlow in turn to Bird. Bird goes wide to O'Keefe. Drives around the other side wing. In front, Buchanan. Roles reversed that time. Buchanan came in front and Harding took the mark, dropping behind. Across the ground, Simpson is going to get a free kick.
That's the kick that coaches hate the most. The long high.
Play on, not 15. Play on.
Lower, told to play on. Inside the 50 yet again, lurking behind Bevan.
She's a great body play, Leo Barry. The way that he just moved Nathan Thompson offline there, nothing illegal about it.
Moore did well against Wells, and now something created. Buchanan can run hard. Roberts Thompson wanting it over the top, but he stops because he couldn't get a player into the right position. And again, the discipline for Sydney.
That was so smart then. He looked up, saw Roberts Thompson, not the right option, he didn't think.
Good's free kick against Harding.
That was really smart there by Buchanan. Even though he stopped and he slowed the play, it was a 2-on-1 deep in their forward line. He didn't trust the fact that he was going to be in the best position, Roberts Thompson, so he just held the ball and decided to go through with another option. And now they find themselves within scoring range.
0-4 last week, Goods. A couple of them are hard snaps under pressure against the Cats. That's a good-looking kick. That's a beautiful goal. He's having a day out. Interesting reaction from Kirk there, who spoke about Goods in the press this week, didn't he? About after the criticism from Ruzi, one of the captains stood up and, geez, a wonderful player, isn't he?
He is. That's not Harding's man. He just unfortunately ended up being the player that had to defend that kick into the forward line. Nathan Buckley spoke about Goods too this morning about what he needed to do, and that was to work harder, run harder, and that's exactly what he seems to be doing this afternoon.
I think you've got to say, Tim, if you're a coach and you're going to cajole a player, it's much better to cajole a champion.
Exactly, and I think Paul Roos allowed probably the season to slip away a little bit from Adam Goods last year and decided to nip it in the bud very early in the year this year.
Not much point getting stuck into a bloke who can't play. Here's what? Harris, interesting. Nice little knee jump, double tuck. Short one goes inside the 50. Well done by Simpson. He led Sainsbury to the ball, and Sainsbury will line up from just inside the 50.
And that's the perfect example when the actual kicker's in control of where the receiver is going to go. He just laid that ball out beautifully in front of Sainsbury.
So Sainsbury, first possession from right on the line. And that's not a good kick. It wanders off towards the behind post. Helped on its way behind then. North Melbourne trail by 19. Still well within touch, and as we've suggested, the longer it goes, the more space will free up for North Melbourne. They're playing a patient game at the moment, but they are dicing with death in as much as Sydney. If they get a couple of goals, it'll be hard to reel in. This is Jack in the back pocket. Told to play on, goes very short, and Goods again.
Rawlings has got the job on him now. He burnt power off.
Kicks it down the line to Jolly, and Jolly had taken the ball out of play. It's been terrific, Jolly, hasn't he? I guess they're waiting for Everett to come back at some stage, the Swans. He's been a bit longer, I think, in the injury than they expected. There's a North Melbourne coaching staff of Dean Laidley in the centre. Powers, quick kick. Rawlings, and then Goods just held his ground and tried to tap it out.
Just one thing, Bruce, asking your opinion as a broadcaster. When you get Sydney away from the SCG or Sydney anywhere, there's a different tempo broadcasting their game. Do you find that?
It's I'll answer it in one sec, because Kennelly's bounce. This is the first time I've called them in 7 years, believe it or not. I haven't called a match that they've played since 2001. So I'm seeing them for the first time in this capacity in a long time, Dennis. But yeah, what I've seen so far, it is different.
It is. It feels strange, doesn't it, a Sydney game?
It's very structured.
There's a pattern to the way they play.
You almost know what's coming, if you know what I mean.
Look at the players around this stoppage.
Over the top, Goods backhands it down. Matner a half chance. Moore applies a tackle on Campbell, and the umpire will ball it up.
If they don't win the clearance, Sydney, they're so good at actually being able to stop the opposition from getting any form of free ball away from. You see that overhead shot there of how many players are around this contest.
Yeah. And the contrast at the other end, nobody. This is Moore, got it from Goods. Out he comes. Just 4 men forward of centre. That's 2 now as one led towards the wing. Meantime, ball comes across from Bolton to Jack. Jack drives it inside the forward 50. Lachlan almost slipped from his grasp. Taken by Petrie. Now the rebound opportunity presents. Petrie went to Harvey. Comes to Power. Long kick. Spots Thompson. Goes to him.
That's great rebound football, but that just shows you how critical it is for Sydney once they do break to hit their targets, because all their players move forward. The Kangaroos actually are behind them, and that's one of the few times this afternoon where they've had separation and they've had that freedom just to move the ball down one part of the ground.
And they were that close. So Lachlan almost the mark. It was an involuntary boot, I think, from Ferrito that saved the day. He'll claim it was well considered. Thompson comes in and kicks the goal. Very much in touch again.
In general possessions, they're very much in touch. In fact, they've taken the ball inside 50 19 times to 15. So they've had their opportunities. They've just haven't made the most of them. Here's the almost mark here. You would have thought he gobbled that, but you're right, Dennis. It was the boot there for Ferrito that dislodged the ball. And see the separation here? This is one of the rare times where Power has actually found some space. And he's a good finisher, a wobbler, but in the right position.
First goal to Thompson today. Missed one in the first term, but he's looked pretty lively. And the game tightens. Each goal, because it's low scoring and the way it's being played, is significant right now, isn't it? So it's 4-2. Remembering we got 2 of those 6 goals in the last minute of the opening term. But they're just hard to come by. More well done out of the centre, gets it inside 50. Roberts Thompson, who's gone forward, lower to Simpson, to Rawlings, who's got the job on goods, and he's running hard. Rawlings, he's had 2 bounces and then goes with a beauty lace out to Thompson.
Well, that's identical to the last movement forward, but just on the other side of the ground. The ball went into the Swans forward line on the top side of the ground. They weren't actually able to contain the ball. They got a rebound. Rawlings found himself in space because Goods had moved into a really attacking position. And there's Nathan Thompson just pushing up on the other side of the ground.
Rawlings actually did a Goods then. We see Goods so often running with bouncing and then delivering to an O'Loughlin or Hall. Well, this would be a real momentum switch and swing, you reckon, if he can kick this. It's going and going. So 2 to Thompson and 3 to the Kangas as they close it up.
Well, they're 2 strong leads, but it's a really predictable and easy ball to read for a forward too. When you see that space, you see your teammates down the field rebounding from half back. You can already read that the ball's going to Rawlings, and then you can actually decide when you're going to time your lead. He timed to perfection again from the top of the square and beat Leo Barry for pace. And generally, he's a good finisher, Nathan Thompson.
Quick back-to-back goals for that man, Nathan Thompson. Best effort against Sydney. 6 for Hawthorn, round 22, 1999. More concerns, though, for Paul Roos. Suddenly, those goals have thrown this game right back in the balance. Lurking behind the pack after White's knock was Simpson. He's taken down by Buchanan. Oh, gee, that's a tough call.
Just looking behind play too, Sainsbury's doing a defensive role as a forward on Kennelly.
Buchanan lays it off. Goods is away. One of the sights of the AFL. Goods blasting away, running hard, and guess who's on the end of it? Davis. This time slipping away from whoever his marker was.
Here's the free kick. Locked up in a tackle, taken to ground, and I've got no idea what that was paid for. He really didn't have any prior opportunity to get rid of the ball. But that's a wonderful kick there by Goods. Nice and deep. And you expect this bloke to finish.
Umpire said Simpson had an arm free, but gee. Davis comes in, hits the post.
His kicking's gone off, hasn't it?
I'll say, one of the great sharpshooters, and forever etched in Sydney's history with that goal against Geelong. But right there, missing from 25, and earlier missing from about 35.
It's interesting, he's missed, I mean, it's very early, and there's only 3 examples, but he's missed from the left side both times, Tim, the left forward pocket, and scored the goal from the right.
He almost knocked the post over. I mean, had plenty of power behind the kick.
And it all means that the Kangaroos stay within 8 points here at North Melbourne. They're going okay, considering that Sydney have sort of had this match in their control. Thompson, Barry had to go early to push him under.
Gee, that was close to a free kick.
Now Bird, McIntosh and White, and then Goods, and that's out on the floor. Barry got away with him then.
Yeah, just he pushed him under the ball with his body. Just watch this. Bang.
I said go outside the line.
In fact, that wasn't as good an angle as the one we got on this side of the contest.
So Rawlings in short. Rawlings and Goods becoming a really pivotal matchup here. Rawlings offensive a moment ago. Goods doing the same thing. So Thomas wide to Harding. Let's see how the Kangaroos can control the tempo with a slow build up here.
Hale offers a lead. That's ignored. Petrie, they came as well. He's marked at about 70 metres out. Goes long down towards full forward. Thompson in the midst of the pack. Big leap over the top there came from Edwards, who's got the football in there. Roberts Thompson falling to the ground. Kirk did brilliantly. Bolton. Now McVeigh in space, and he's got some time. To the back pocket. Mackner. Barlow. He'll run outside the defensive 50. Carrying up towards the wing. Kicks beyond the wing. Davis out of position this time. So as Ferrito switched to Davis. He was chasing him moments ago, and 50 to Ferrito.
Well, Harding's on O'Loughlin for the moment, Dennis, so it might have been the switch. Davis really playing as the full forward today in a way, isn't he?
Very much a target for them, but hasn't taken advantage. Has got some good delivery. Here's Ferrito. So
he'll get he will get the distance, Dennis.
He kicked one goal last year. He's never kicked a goal against Sydney. 13 for his career, all singles. From 55 metres out. Shouldn't have said a thing.
Leo Barrow, what he's doing in these contests against Nathan Brown, he's actually taking his body. Here's another example of what he's doing. Just pushing there with his body. Nathan Thompson under the ball. And the next contest they had deep in the forward line too, he did exactly the same thing, just going to the body of Nathan Thompson and just edging him underneath the ball.
So Powell was on Goods there, and Goods took an easy mark, and then lovely kick. Jolly to Bevan. So the Swans need a goal here. Bevan runs a full stretch. Campbell can't quite get him. O'Loughlin. Well, that's going to help O'Loughlin. He's had one of those days. He just hasn't quite been able to take a clean grab or get an easy kick. So just his second kick today, and he just pops it up to a contest. Davis a target, but Jones getting back.
O'Keefe looking back at O'Loughlin too. He got some separation. That's where the kick should have gone. That's the normal play for the Sydney Swans.
And that's a beautiful kick from Jones to Wells.
Defensive side of centre wing, puts it to space. Hale, an obliging bounce. Grant comes at him, low down. Got a good bounce as well, but no getting away from Bevan. It takes him across the line.
Just watching his hips in, Bevan just making sure that Grant wasn't going to get around him. Great tackle.
Boundary throw in right on the 50. Hale backhands it down. Ball hand passed out of there by Bird, coming in the opposite direction. Harris somehow, Thomas almost through. Mattner did brilliantly, got him on the ground. That hand pass from Sainsbury at very close quarters gave Grant no hope. Now they'll work it out. McVeigh involved early, and late it's Buchanan. Gave it away though in the opposite direction. Sinclair, long ball, no stopping Thompson here. Didn't fly. Punched away by Roberts Thompson. Mattner, good pickup. Goes with the right boot. Not a bad finish either. Getting a hand in there. Campbell able to knock it away from Kennelly.
That was a brilliant pick up there by Mattner.
Let's go down to Rico Lorenzo.
Well, Paul Roos has read the momentum shift as well. Roberts Thompson, who was playing across half forward, has now been put behind the ball as it plays a loose man in defence.
Thanks, Rick. So McVeigh's kick not going anywhere really, and then Thomas gets it from Sainsbury and then kicks to Thompson, and that is just another wonderful kick. And Ricky talked about Roberts Thompson going behind the ball. This is the space they're having trouble to clog up at the moment, the Thompson space, isn't it?
He's good in the air against him, Leo Barry, because he's able to shift the body of Nathan Thompson, but on the lead like this, Thompson's doing him from pace, just coming from the top of the square, and they've been disciplined about leaving that space for him to lead into. The third mark he's taken on the lead against Leo Barry in this quarter.
Well, if he kicks this, what a contribution in this low-scoring first half he would have made. No, so not coming back. So he's missed a couple of pretty easy ones to be in front, and he's kicked 15-6 from set shots, including the 2-2 this year, and you reckon he should have had 4 today?
Well, there are no natural elements in here with the dome, with the roof closed, to contend with, so it's all about technique.
And this is going to be a match of centimetres, you reckon? It's 4-6 to 3-6. It should break up a bit in the second half, but you feel it's going to be pretty tight all day. So those are big misses. Ablett down the line to Goods.
Having a wonderful game. Goods 70 metres out from goal, reading the angle brilliantly. Lower came across, able to punch it out of bounds. Like the cavalry, just in the nick of time. But Goods, challenged by his coach immediately after last week's game against the Cats, has 13 possessions. Hale down to Harris. Thompson in trouble. McVeigh's got him. Thompson didn't appear to have the football at the end. Down goes Davis, crashing through Sinclair. Sinclair's away. Left half back. A few running bounces now. Confronted by O'Keefe. Nothing much to kick to. Well, Wells just opted out of the contest. You've got to go.
He had to go. He had to go.
Ablett. They were side by side. Ablett went into that unexplored territory. Not so Wells. Bolton across the ground. Roberts, Thompson, untidy, taken high. Sinclair, and he's momentarily stunned.
You all right, Jess?
They're away then too. They had three Swans players who were inside the square there. A high tackle against Simpson, and that was all caused because Roberts Thompson didn't hit his target coming through the midfield.
Yeah, okay, come in.
No doubting the free kick.
You right? Can you take your kick, Jess?
We're taking him off. We'll take him off.
Okay.
Hang on. No, just about 5 minutes off.
Ed. Take it.
Now this is interesting because if we go back to the tie on this ground, I think the umpire blew time on immediately there.
Clear it out.
Got to try for that last word, Bruce. Here's Petrie.
You might have to...
It's a grey area, you've got to admit.
No doubt about that.
Well, the Kangaroo supporters want to know what the difference is with that free kick.
Sinclair, I'm sure his mate Ricky will let us know what's going on. You'll have to be a consultant to the timekeepers, I reckon, Dennis.
They're not going that bad, Bruce.
Knock it out. Hit it out.
I don't come cheap either. They'll be on the clock.
You certainly don't come cheap. Jolly got the tap. Harris, but you're worth every cent. Kick inside the 50 and not cheap. Another good lead and marked by Thompson.
He's really causing Leo Barry some concern. I'm just looking at the next best option, and I'm not sure Paul Roos is going to go with Roberts Thompson on Nathan Thompson. Maybe Ted Richards, who's got some really good speed.
Is Bolton big enough, Craig?
Bolton may.
He's had 5 marks inside 50 today. The Kangaroos have taken 9 and he's taken 5 of them. And this, a 5th shot for goal, and that looking good. Not quite getting there. Play on. Was that a goal? No, it wasn't. Thank you. See, they could be in front of half time here.
Move out now, please. Thank you.
That's a matchup that's concerning Paul Roos at the moment. There's the tap. Yeah, definitely go over the boundary line.
Great shot.
Sorry, definitely over the goal line.
Great shot and a good decision from the umpire.
There's Bevan on the outer side. As you can see, has been stitched up. Literally speaking, the ball comes towards the halfback flank from Matner, finds Kirk. Back to the middle. There's Bolton. What a fine player he's been for a long time. Formerly with Brisbane. Found his home at Sydney. Jude Bolton.
And Dennis, Kennelly went onto the bench after being tagged early by Sainsbury. He's just come back onto the ground, but it looks like he's taking up a different role in the midfield.
O'Keefe has it at the interchange gates.
They're just trying to free him up, get some of his run into their game.
Richards now, just behind the wing.
So Richards swings it back. Roberts Thompson had a bit of a fumble, but they can open up a bit here. Bolton, that's Craig over the top to O'Keefe. Now he's on the right side for him. Does he go long or short? He's not sure at the moment, then loads up and goes long to the goal square. Jolly's there with McIntosh. And Jude Bolton just being told by the umpire, it was your own man Jolly that pushed you in the back. So Sydney get it out to a goal again, 31-25, deep into this second term. There it is, Jolly, hands in the back of the teammate.
I know they fought at different times, but this is a bit like the Undertaker against Andre the Giant. We know they're big, but not a lot's happening. Ball short of the wing. Bevan got a fist on that one, sends it back inside the 50. Did that come off the heel of O'Loughlin? Yes, it did. Out on the full, he was stiff. So less than a minute. Corey Jones to take the kick, and the margin 6 points. So we've got a long way for very little separation. That's the key word today between these two clubs. Petrie on the 150.
It's a good word.
And that's probably about right from there. 150. Just chips it short of the wing. Edwards. Oh,
that's an ankle.
Hurt it. Now,
you okay to take your kick? No.
Now we've again had time on blow.
Yeah, we'll take, wait. Okay.
And Edwards is coming off. Time's back on.
Oof.
Oh dear.
There's ligaments done there.
Move it on.
So here's Harding. Kicks towards half forward. McIntosh had it knocked away. Well knocked away by Jolly. Smart. Angle to the boundary. Aaron Edwards. Didn't stick the landing. Gee, that's a nasty one.
He looked like his ankle was on an angle then too as he came off the ground. They went straight up the roast then.
It's always scary if somebody takes you front on, you're on your knees or something, bending back. Here's Simpson inside the forward 50. Grant stayed off the contest initially. Sliding in with a lot of courage down there was Bolton. Opportunity for Campbell. Lost it. Sainsbury claimed. In goes White. Sainsbury put him down. White still got the football in there.
Did he have? None at all. I'll have it.
Okay. So a bounce about 40 metres out.
Looks like Roberts Thompson actually has now gone to Nathan Thompson in the goal square.
Can they get one here? Knocked down by McIntosh on the siren. Kennelly's kick bounces obligingly out of bounds. Well, a lot of interest. It's like a tug of war. Sydney a 4-7, North Melbourne a 3-7. This is Sunday footy. Start of the second half. Sinclair sitting on the bench seems to be okay. It was bad luck because he was starting to become an influence. Hopefully gets back out there and starts to work as he was. Goods gets it from Kirk inside the forward 50. That was White coming up to meet it, missed it. O'Loughlin tried to paddle the ball to his own advantage. Quick hands there. O'Keefe to White, back to O'Loughlin, spots a man in the middle. Beautiful. Kirk's got it directly in front, and he'll kick from about 35 metres out.
There's Ablett canning into the umpire. They've really missed Barry Hall this afternoon, Sydney, haven't they? They didn't seem to miss him so much last week, but they've missed that target across half forward, that reliable push-up player.
Been around a long time. Made his debut round 19 of 1999. His first kick hit Tony Lockett on the chest, and Tony wouldn't have been happy with that kick. A behind.
Been good again today, Kirk. He set up a couple of early chances for the Swans in the opening term, so they're okay.
It's not going to be a high-scoring game, so they need to kick those. When they get inside 50, they've got a direct shot like that straight out in front of goal. They need to nail them. Just 7 goals scored in the first half of football.
Well, we've mentioned earlier, Tim, that roof over the top, but both teams have missed a lot of set shots today. Simpson. Heard the umpire. Harvey had a big first quarter, not quite so productive in the second. Thompson again a target. She not paid to Rawlings. Here's a chance. That short forward line break quickly. Sainsbury didn't take it. Campbell takes them on, runs a heck of a long way and kicks the goal.
If you pulled him up after that, though, you would not have a sense of theatre. Now, that is the problem. If the ball gets in there quickly like it did, there's the first contest. I would have paid that a mark. I mean, Nathan Thompson seemed to have control of that ball. Here's the second kick. Sainsbury leads up. It goes over the top, and this bloke just turns on the afterburners. And that spells danger for Sydney Swans in this second half. They're going to have to rotate them at some stage, but these blokes are dangerous.
So likeable, so pesky. He's like that cotton ball in a bottle of aspirin. He just bobs up. And there the pace as he burnt the opposition off. Over the top, Jolly. Still inside the centre square. Harding, Simpson getting busy. Not a good kick though. Showed a lot of it to Goods, who got a first on it. Looking for a free kick. Kirk got one. And I would say Kirk almost dragged his man to ground lower with superior strength.
Spot on.
That was almost stop-start. 2 motions for the push in the back.
Players are conning the umpires at the moment.
Bolton. The one legitimate one that stands out today wasn't paid. Here's White.
It's a strong mark too from White.
Like the look.
Oh,
O'Loughlin.
that's their game, isn't it? That White really played the Barry Hall role then. That first kick outside or inside their 50, lead up to that, they create that space, and then they hit the ball down to O'Loughlin. And that's you're quite right, Dennis, the way you called that. Kirk actually took the tackle on and dragged lower to the ground.
Michael O'Loughlin has been struggling for form last week and again today. 10 goals on the season so far. This might get him going. No, it just swings away to the right. Very similar to Davis's kick in the first term. And Sydney's lead just 2 points now.
Here's the tackle again.
Sydney no goals in the last 24 minutes of game time. In that time they scored 4 behind. So they're marching on the spot at the moment, the Swans, and slowly being caught by the Kangaroos. That's a poor kick by Wells. And O'Keefe, who started really brightly, has got the mark now. He's going to go into the centre. Jack.
He would have loved that one, Kennelly. He ran past then. Still going to run Campbell here.
Bolton squeezes the kick.
He'll get it
to Moore. And here is Kennelly, Tim. He's seen little of the footy so far today, and that's a lovely way to kick to Jolly.
And that's a great response too on Campbell. He's taken him right up the ground from the goal square. He kept running. He kept forcing him to chase him. And eventually he got hold of the ball. And that's a good finish inside 50.
Kicked the opening goal today, Jolly. He's had a goal in the last 3 weeks now. So take a good kick. We've seen big goal kickers missing easy ones so far today. That is a lovely looking kick off the boot, but it just fades. I reckon there's a little magnet there, Dennis. It keeps going to that little side.
Yeah.
From the opposite side, but drawn to it. You're good on all those conspiracy theories. Work on it for me.
Grassy knoll. I think that the problem was there for Scott Welsh last week too, if you remember. He missed just about every kick to that spot. There must be a draft there, Bruce. Where's the air conditioning duct? Get onto that, Tim. Here's Petrie, who's been very good. Goes wide to the outer side wing, pushing up. Harvey takes the mark. Harvey told to play on. Keeps going down that outer side. Searching lead from Jones, just pushing up the ground. He's quick over the ground. Difficult player to match up on. Again, the kick is close to the boundary, and a push in the back this time.
That's the first time he's been spotted this afternoon.
Oh, you're about a metre or two away.
Just watch this again.
It was a good try.
That's probably his crudest attempt this afternoon.
Yeah. And Thompson's been pleading his case behind play to the umpires, so he's not happy with what's going on. I think Sydney have gone away and refined their work a little bit on the spoil. Here's an opportunity after the Hale kick was ill-directed for Rito inside the forward 50. Bounces close to the boundary line and runs away to go out.
That's terrific protection there by Lower in the centre of the ground. Here it is. It looked like he's in a bit of trouble here for Rito, but great bump there on O'Loughlin.
Throwing in. Hale hit him on the shoulder. Opportunity for Kirk. Jolly. Now Lower sprays it out of bounds on the full. And speaking of bad kicks, that earlier one across the ground, in fact, came from Watt.
So Bolton. Gee, Bevan's done a terrific job on Shannon Grant so far today.
Look at
and
that
now Richards breaks.
Oh.
Doesn't take the clean mark. Now he has to get around. He's in trouble, but he's legged. Gets it back to Barry, but that hard run from Goods now towards it isn't, because Richards just wasn't clean. Now getting it is Moore at centre wing. Now gets inside their attacking zone and kicks to the O'Loughlin lead, and well done. Thompson getting back. This is Scott Thompson.
Can only assume there that Richards didn't see the big guy out the corner of his eye.
It really stopped the flow then, because you call it right, Bruce. Goods had broken to half forward and the other players had moved away, so he had all that space to operate in.
So Harding's kick, and right now the Kangaroos are looking the better team.
Yes, get the feeling they're making their move. This is lower. Runs beyond the wing, looks inside the forward 50, sets it up. Not sure who the target was down there. Bolton, easy task, knocks it out of bounds. So boundary throw in. Shannon Grant against his first team. Hasn't seen much of the footy.
I think Lowell made a mistake then too. Wells was forward of him. He was calling for the handball. He would have carried the ball inside 50 and had a shot.
Jolly locks up with Thompson. Jolly directed it down. Thompson goes after it. Tries to wrench it away from Kirk, and the ball isn't coming out. Shannon Grant, just 3 hand passes so far this afternoon. Played 58 games for Sydney.
Now if they can just get it wide of this congested area, Kangaroos, they can look dangerous in their forward line.
Paul Roos would be a dangerous poker player. Here's Moore, smothered off the boot. Chance for the Kangaroos. Grant another hand pass. Flicking it back over his shoulder, there was Rawlings. Down went Jack. Over the football was Campbell. Barlow tries to emerge. Sainsbury's got him. And there's no free kick.
A wonderful smother here. Just watch this by Thomas. Brilliant.
Dennis mentioned Grant, no kicks today so far. Campbell's goal was his first kick, so there's a bit of upside here if they can just get an opportunity or two, and that's hard against the Swans, as I know. It's not easy.
This is Sydney football, isn't it?
Yep.
This is Sydney at their absolute best. They want to create this congestion. They've got good, strong, hard bodies, and there's nobody at the other end of the field.
But it's almost been a half an hour since they've scored a goal, the Swans, and the 3-goal lead has been eroded to 3 points over that period.
The Kangaroos really need the third man up at this next contest just to clear it, even if they hook it backwards, but just to find some space, because they've got so much speed at ground level that they're unable to use.
Well, Kennelly was the third man out, and Harding has kicked the goal, and they're in front.
Well, Kennelly did the job for the Kangaroos. That's what they would have been hoping for. One of their own players to come over the top. Here's Kennelly, just smashes it out to the back. And there's Harding, who is a forward turned a defender this year. He's just gone down, actually just followed the flow of the play. And he's had his hands full on most occasions today, but he does know how to sniff out a goal. He's proven that in the past.
Let's go down to Ricky Olorenshaw.
Just some news on Aaron Edwards. He came out of the race, and there he is sitting on the interchange bench, very obviously disappointed. As I said at half-time, he's got a suspected fractured fibula, so he could be out of footy for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, Sydney got the opening goal 48 seconds in, and North have trailed since then. Oh, clever. Harding slaps it wide, taken by Simpson, getting a lot of the football now. Towards the outer side, Jack got a kind bounce, sweeps away, goes in short. Kirk, wrong foot, Simpson. Buchanan feigns a hand pass, almost through, goes back to Ablett, run down by Wells in the opposite direction, lower, in trouble. This is Bird, lays it off, wide of the pack, Moore, clever kick, was it 15?
Just.
O'Loughlin's got it. So Sydney, after that battle at the opposite end, and Tim said this is Sydney at their best.
Terrific body play here by Kieran Jack, and good ball use too. Just lowered his eyes, hit the target. Great tackle there by Wells, but they just couldn't clear the immediate danger.
O'Loughlin steps inside the 50 to regain the lead. Is the kick straight? It's tight. This is touch and go. I think it's a goal. That's a beautiful kick from Mickey O'Loughlin. He rejoices. Sydney back in front.
But that's Sydney at their best, just making sure that this kick hits its target. Just freeing up the ball there. Good pressure again. Nick Davis just applying the tackle. Then smart play by Bird outside. They reset more. Just sees the lead from O'Loughlin coming from the goal square. And when they're at their absolute best, Sydney's, we just see that ball just clearing the line. The umpire was in perfect position, although he was caught behind the head.
Got to remember there, the fat bit is part of the line.
I reckon it just travelled, Dennis.
Past the fat bit?
Just past the fat bit.
Good enough.
Mickey O'Loughlin is 50th on the all-time goal kickers list with 472. So that was an important one, as many of them have been. So the Kangaroos in front for under 2 minutes in this match, but very much a part of it, this match, and going okay with Simpson's high ball to fall forward. And Thomas was coming over the back. Grant and Bevan going for the same ball as they've done so much today.
As soon as they shake themselves free, they look dangerous, don't they, the Kangaroos? So it's going to be a question of whether or not Sydney can keep locking them down, and they're making the most of their opportunities when they go forward.
I reckon if you didn't look at the scoreboard right now, you just feel like they're going better than Sydney, and at the moment it's a 2-point game. But they do play the percentages very well, the Swans.
Here's Bolton. Just outside the defensive 50. White, Kennelly across the body, bounces it close to the boundary. Both sides content to do that. Just work it forward, a war of attrition.
Just had 7 touches this afternoon, Kennelly. They haven't had his run off half back, that devastating run. He's had his hands full with these Kangaroo players.
White and McIntosh. McIntosh decisively. Stolen by Bird, though. Buchanan feeds it back. Kennelly. No real pressure, looks towards the middle. Jude Bolton, McVeigh, Richards, back to McVeigh, hesitates in the centre circles, goes back to the outer side. This is Buchanan once more, the build-up, again laborious, long kick this time though, deep into attack for Rito. Sounds like a trapeze artist, but flying for Rito.
Well, he lived up to that tag right there, didn't he? He was terrific. Power and a tough opening turn running with Goods, and then Rawlings had the job for a fair while.
And Nathan Thompson's just replaced Campbell, so there'll be a mismatch. The Sydney defenders will have to just reshuffle themselves.
Harding in a big match against Collingwood last week, 26 disposals, career high. Now to Rawlings. So they're playing the patient game pretty well, as they've done all day, the Kangaroos. Jones on a long lead. Now Thompson the target. Tim just talked about him coming back on, and that is unfortunate.
Bolton's gone to him now. Leo Barry's standing up at the interchange gates. He'll come straight back onto the ground and go to Thompson.
Thought it was out on the full for the moment, above the knee, so a lucky break maybe for the Kangaroos. McIntosh front spot against White. The handball a bit wayward. Jones goes back to Grant, still without a
Corey Jones.
kick today, Grant. So the free, they're going to Corey Jones.
Tackle was high according to the umpire. So Corey Jones, a long way from goal, and plenty of time for the Sydney Swans to get back. Certainly in the back if it wasn't high. There goes the Corey Jones kick, again close to the boundary. Clattering into the back of Hale was Roberts Thompson, and Hale will get the free.
Freeze here, you've got to come around. Freeze where I've marked it for you. Time is ticking away now.
There the umpire. Time is ticking away.
Definitely a free kick there, just canning into the back of him. So his time started now. He gets 30 seconds, doesn't he? So he probably wasted about 15 just getting back up, ready to take his kick.
Hale only about 25 metres out, at a sharp angle.
A long 20 seconds.
It's like being a quiz contestant. Here he comes and misses to the near side by hitting the post. Halfway up.
Well, a little swing back late, didn't it? But
almost got me, Bruce.
You looked nervous for a moment.
I was committed to the miss.
Spot on in the end. You were centimetre perfect, Dennis.
Thank you, Bruce.
Matner's kick to a contest, so the Swans wouldn't be happy with that. Harvey to Simpson, who hooks back to full forward. That was well done by Matner. Now we're watching such an even contest here. The scoreboard going in slow motion, but it's certainly tense enough. McIntosh. Roberts Thompson wants the boundary line, and he might have been lucky that Thomas got there before it went out. And again, it'll be a stoppage with a boundary throw in with Kangaroos deep into attack, trailing by just a solitary behind.
McIntosh works in front of Jolly, slaps it down. Bolton helped the ball on its way. Bird with courage, dived in after it. Well done, Kirk, to Barlow. Sends it towards the outer side. Davis, was he pushed in the back? Taken by Barlow once more. Kicks it long down towards half forward. For Rito, who's been resolute back there. Hand passes, they've got the extra number. Power. Petrie liked his game. Short of half forward, Jones boxing for a free kick. Is that a free kick? Richards. Well, as Bill Clinton said, it depends on what you mean by is.
Smart play here by Freo. Just watch the bodywork, just edging wide in underneath the ball.
So Richards' little kick. Harvey to chase it back. Gets it to Power. It's going to be a pretty good kick, Power. That one didn't time it well at all, and Goods read it the best.
That's good, courageous play too by Goods to sit in the hole like that. Good strong mark. Jack and Harvey are still going at it. He's done a reasonable job though, Jack. He's kept Harvey to 15 touches.
Goods to O'Keefe. And again a contest, and unable to. Petrie has been very good, and so's Ferrito down back. And that's a good kick. Finding Rawlings. They're pressing here, aren't they, the Kangaroos? They're really asking some questions of the Swans. That's a poor kick. Matner, the one that the ball bounces into, and again, it'll be.
Harvey's had a couple of touches, but he hasn't had any of those devastating runs where he's been able to run, give the handball, get it back again. That's what Kieran Jack's been able to stop him from doing.
Oh, you jumped early. I nearly jumped against North Melbourne. Did pay 1-4. I'll pay 1 against. So I'll bounce it again.
Bounce it again. Thank you. Simultaneous free kicks. Simultaneous free kick. I've paid 1 to Kangaroos. He's paid 1 to Sydney.
Coin toss would be fair. Bounce 30 metres out. Good umpiring.
No, arm over the shoulder.
Hang on.
Sydney.
He got his one back though.
He did.
I think he paid the one to Sydney in the first place.
He's positive one. And I think he said to the other umpire, no. Out of defence then. Kick goes wide from Jolly. They were the simultaneous free kicks you were watching. Here's Richards. Goes down towards half forward. Stumbling for Rito, not so. O'Loughlin into the path of White, the big guy, very nimble. Feeds it back on Babu, but stolen there by Sinclair. Shows a lot of it to Bolton. Oh, courageous by Wells. Wells kept coming. Now he gets 50.
That's a tough call, though. I reckon Bolton believed that he was a realistic chance to spoil that. It's a split-second judgment, but I just see that as an honest contest.
And things have changed a bit too with the arms. They look sinister in that situation as the ball is in 50 and Hale has taken the mark. So a good kick up the ground after the 50 has spotted Hale. But you can't swing the arm to spoil simply because you'll cut the arms and give away a free. So you almost come in a rigid position. The arms are up as you arrive. That certainly did Pratt in last week.
Right. You've got to make contact with your body.
All these things you've got to remember, Tim.
Oh, it's difficult.
It is difficult. You've got a checklist as you arrive. Forget one thing, free kick. The best you can hope for is simultaneous free kicks. In comes Hale, and he sneaks it home.
He's pushed forward twice now in this third quarter. The first time he hit the post, that time he almost shaved the post, and it is a real struggle there. They're just getting that extra distance down the field. That's what did the damage to the Sydney Swans, not able to get back there quickly enough to cover the space. And Hale and McIntosh have shared the ruck work this afternoon.
Kanga's back in front. Down to you, Rick.
Yeah, with the loss of Edwards up forward, they've had to put McIntosh to full forward just to create another tall target. And what David Hale is doing, as soon as he gets a chance to push forward, he tries to catch Jolly out on the rebound. So that's the way the Kangaroos are setting up their forward structure.
They've only been in front for about 2 minutes in this match. Let's see if they can hang on to this lead before three-quarter time. Kirk took that extra step and he's gone. That's a great chase by Harris. So they're matching Sydney for all the little 1%ers, aren't they? The Kangaroos. Harris, slow kick, good mark though. Petrie's been terrific.
Gee, that was close to a 50 if the last one was a 50.
Yeah.
And in this match, more than most, Tim, I reckon 50 is such an advantage because it's so hard to get the ball from one end to the other at the moment.
They're half chances you're going to be given this afternoon.
So here's Harvey. Kicks to about 25 metres. McIntosh, who Rick spoke about a moment ago. Bevan's been outstanding down back. Long handball. O'Keefe to Jolly. Now can they get some run here, the Swans? Oh. Well done, Bolton. Back to O'Keefe. O'Loughlin up the ground.
Now that was all created because O'Keefe just kept running. And he's still working as he goes forward.
McVeigh, meantime, got an unfavourable bounce and working back. Campbell escorts the ball across the boundary.
He has genuine leg speed, Campbell.
Sometimes because of the style of football they play, you can forget how talented the Sydney Swans are as they work that ball forward. That was really slick at high speed. Now Bolton gets a free, plays on, centering kick. Here's trouble. Petrie won't get to the contest. Goods is marked. 40 metres out. Kirk, well, they've got 2-on-1 close to goal. Played it pretty well for Rito. Split the difference, just stood in the middle.
He played it particularly well. It looked like it was on. He went to Kirk. He then thought that he left the goal square open. He covered that as well.
But you would think Goods, he's a strong kick, should kick this. Directly in front. Beautiful view of it. Beautiful kick. Splits the middle.
That was a terrific kick then by Bolton, but yeah, Paul Roos is using Goods intelligently in this second half. He just pushed him forward. It was a Petrie-Goods matchup, and here's the free kick to Bolton. Just a quick slight push in the side, in the back there from Harris. Got up really quickly though, and that's where the space was still across the ground, and just set it up in the air beautifully for Goods.
Probably the dominant player in the match, you would think so far, wouldn't you? He's just across half forward at the moment, Goods. So again, Sydney get that little lead back after the Kangaroos hit the front. So McVeigh held up. Simpson and Kirk.
Been good and close this year, McVeigh. He's been one of their better players around the stoppages and the clearances.
The family continue to improve as they get older, don't they? A couple of good boys there. So Jolly and Hale and the four men up. It was Ablett that got the tap. Bolton, Kirk couldn't quite. Petrie continues to do well and sweeps an important ball to Simpson. He's got a bit of time and then kicks to centre half forward. Harvey trying to work Jack around, and then Campbell back to Harvey. He broke the tackle. He's in the pocket. The handball to McIntosh, and the big guy kicks the goal after the little bloke set it up.
That was exciting stuff. You love him in this part of the ground, don't you? Once he got rid of Jack there, he had a little bit of separation, then he got rid of him again. That's just genuine leg speed. I wasn't sure about going inside to McIntosh, but that was smart play by the big fella too, just to lay the ball across his boot. And they just kept it alive, and they had the leg speed to do the rest of the damage.
$13 goals for the game. 5 lead changes in this term.
And their last 2 goals have come from their big guys too, their ruckman in Hale and McIntosh.
Harvey was terrific there. McIntosh on the way down. Sends it back to Harris, taken high. North Melbourne A chance to extend their lead. They're surging, one senses now. Momentum in blue and white. Perito kicks inside the forward 50. Awkward one just in front of Jones. Coming through down there was Richard. Strong tackle. Took him down. McIntosh will have a bounce. 30 metres out. 2.5 minutes to go.
Really good tackle here. Could easily have given a free kick away there, McIntosh, but just lowered his body enough.
McIntosh doing well. First hand of the ball again. Moore wrestles with Sainsbury, who went to ground. Bolton involved as well. Slung out of there like a rag doll was Campbell. Taken by Moore. Floats one outside the 50. Over the top, Bevan. Bounced off his chest. He went to ground. Tries to give it to O'Loughlin. Harris, no way through. Bevan taken down by Petrie. Well, what's the call? It's going to be a free kick to Bevan. Didn't have the footy. So just over 2 minutes remaining in the term. And Bevan spots Goods. Will he go to Goods? No. Kicks over his lead. Some wrestling down there. Ablett could have got an early free. He was able to go back and take the mark in any case.
This should tell a bit about where the Swans are at, the way they build here in this last minute. Davis, well done by Lowe. He might have just hurt himself for the moment. Lowe's closing speed on Davis has been important more than once today.
He looked clear. Here's some great tackling here. There's a great tackle there by O'Loughlin, actually, just to wrap up Harris's arm.
Jude Bolton, you get a free kick, I think.
You talk about the advances in our game. One of the great advancements in the game has actually been the tackling. Not just the ability to tackle, but also to lock the arms in a contest.
So Bolton, who's a pretty good tackler in his own right, isn't he? It's one of the features of his game.
I reckon they set the trend, Sydney. I think everybody's been playing catch-up since.
Now, this will test Bolton, but this to give the Swans a lead, maybe going into the last quarter. Now, I don't think he passed the test, do you? There's a terrible kick. So the Swans, who have held sway for much of the match, trail by less than a kick at three-quarter time.
Just over a minute to go. I would imagine North might just run down the clock. There's Harding. Well, made it hard for himself. He's on the defensive 50. Look out. That's holding the ball. Well, one of those moments.
You don't get around this play.
No.
He's one of the best tacklers in the game, Kieran Jack.
And so is his dad in rugby league, Gary Jack. One of the great players. I think he won a golden boot for the best player in one particular year in the world. And tackling was part and parcel of playing fullback at Balmain. Like an Ablett from another code. There's Kennelly. Got it from Jack. Takes off. Now look at that acceleration. Goes down towards the pocket. And Bolton has another chance.
They guarded the dangerous space in the Kangaroos. They blocked the corridor. They're quite prepared to go wide. After the last kick, though, I think I would have chosen one of the other options.
I think it's fair to say to a neutral supporter, your assessment of Sydney depends on your mood. If you just got a parking ticket, no. If Michelle Pfeiffer left a message about dinner, yes. That's no. Bolton misses near side. Three-quarter time. This is going to be a big finish. Don't worry about that. And the crowd getting into it. North Melbourne 7-9-51, Sydney 6-10-46. This is Sunday football. Final term, Sunday football at the Dome. Roof is closed. Umpire McLaren, a veteran with a perfect bounce. Hale knocks it down. Ablett tackled immediately. Wrestled down.
No chance.
I'll have another ball up. Interesting. Shannon Grant. 4 hand passes so far. So it goes without saying he hasn't kicked a goal. His best chance would have been 4 forced behinds, I guess, Dib.
He's had a quiet afternoon. Dennis Harvey started forward. Kieran Jack, they're playing at centre half forward.
Jolly and Kirk trying to combine there, but that ball's not coming out again. Hale battling with Jolly.
If they do get a break here, the Kangaroos, you expect that they'd run and carry the ball to the top of the square, get a contest, and Harvey could be dangerous running onto that ball.
Edgy game. Just around the edges. A bit going on. Lower. Once more, Sydney. Just congesting things so hard to get away, get an easy ball.
Don't hold on.
by McLaren. Good thing he's in form with the bouncers. That was another good one. Backhanded down by Jolly. And Harding taken down. So we've got the new North against the old South. That's fast becoming an uncivil war. Sniping around the packs. There's the bounce. Been talking about General Grant as well. Leading back, lower, Wells, left half back, kicks it out wide. Ablett comes across on the angle. Simpson did well, and the ball trickles out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
Did well there, Ablett, because, and as the umpire said, it was the right handball. He didn't go to the line, but he knew the ball would go over. So Jolly won it, but Hale roved it in the end, and then Ablett was held on to. Doesn't get a free kick. Simpson all over him there. Oh, gee.
That's tough.
Yeah, I reckon it was, because
he left his arm up. He couldn't get rid of the ball.
Just throw yourself forward and didn't get it out.
Well, we heard the umpire's explanation. I disagree with that.
Simpson to Harris, and Harris gets around Kirk and then goes low, and I don't think it was meant for Harding, and it didn't come off in the end. Barry, Kennelly, and that's dangerous, but he finds Bird, and now Bird to run it, and again Jack run down by Wells. Now that surely was up in the ball. No, okay. I thought he had a bit of a chance. Fair enough. Down to you, Ricky.
Just on Eamon Buchanan, I made an observation just before three-quarter time. He grabbed the back of his right leg. He started this quarter on the bench. They've had a fair bit of work done on that right hamstring. He's just stretching it out now.
Daniel Wells almost the hammerlock there as Kirk gives it across to Barlow, kicks towards half forward, stretching. O'Keefe will get the free kick, wants to go now. He's put himself on his wrong foot, uses his left, but it wasn't a good one. He wasn't straight. Petrie camped over the football, threw it out, put down.
50
and 50. Well, that is a pivotal call. The question is, how did Petrie get the ball out of there?
It was a bump. It was a front-on bump. I think we saw how he got it out
I'm
there.
not sure there was anything wrong with the bump.
Thanks, Jesse.
He's just shoveled it out there. That's a throw.
That wasn't head high. Petrie's got the ball. Liked his game, as I've said several times. The big man has been mobile enough to compete in what's a strange game for big men. Here's Harvey.
He's playing centre forward at the moment.
That is ambitious. The boy from Balmain got him not once but twice. The second time illegally. Things falling into place for the Kangaroos.
How did he get rid of the ball, right? How did they get rid of the ball on that occasion?
He was to the ground. He didn't have the ball.
What's his tackle?
This is a great tackle.
Okay, half a handball. This one.
He would have learned that in Balmain, I reckon. Take him low. Get the head tucked in. Here's Thompson. Thompson 60 metres out then. 5 points the difference. Next goal very important. Oh, that's a strong mark. A beauty by Hale.
He's become a factor, hasn't he, in the second half of footy? Thompson's dried up. Barry's had the better of him in the second half. They've had to find themselves a go-to man. It's been their big men. Here he is operating from deep.
And that would take the wind out.
Yeah, where we are.
Courageous by the man in front too. That's Bolton.
Thanks, Adam.
Would have been a free kick, I'm sure, had he not marked it. But Bolton in a position to injure himself coming back like that. But that's the way Sydney play. Ferocious at the man. Hale. Perhaps the biggest kick of the game. If they can get it out beyond the goal, in the context of the game, that's a big lead. Hale were right behind him, works it back right to left, it's through. Look out, Sydney.
Kicked 2 second-half goals, Hale, and this is an undersized Sydney defence, and they're testing him at the moment. They've got Hale, they've pushed him deep at different stages of the second half because they did lose Edwards. They've had to push McIntosh deep too. And at the moment, Barry's got Thompson. Ted Richards is picking up Hale, so that's a height advantage to the Kangaroos too.
So Hale with 2 goals. Great point you made, Dennis, because it's taken Sydney an hour to kick 2 goals, from 4 goals to 6.
Yeah.
It was 6-minute mark at the second quarter. They got their 4th goal through Goods, and now they need at least 2 to win, minimum. So you're going to have to let the shackles go. And Harvey continuing to get plenty of the footy, and Jones running onto it. And another one here you would think might be getting out of the reach of the Swans.
They're really disciplined at how they open up the centre-half forward position. Their forwards actually push back into the goal square. They leave a lot of space in front of the centre-half forward position, and that was just speed then from Harvey, just running away from the stoppage.
They've kicked 7 of the last 9 goals, the Kangaroos, since Sydney led 4-1. So they really have had the better of it for most of the day, and now they're starting to put that advantage on the board. Well, Dennis talked about the big kick a moment ago. This one is pretty big too for Jones, and it's a goal. And the Kangaroos are looking good.
You can't write the Sydney side off. So many times, even last week against Geelong, they looked like they were going to get blown out of the water, but they had the capacity to come back. So much of their game actually starts here, their ability to win the ball from a stoppage. And if they're not able to do that, then so much of the rest of their game actually just grinds to a halt. And I reckon at the moment, that's where the Kangaroos are really matching them.
They put Davis on and White's come off, so they've changed the structure of their forward line right now. They've gone smaller.
Dean Laidley, no doubt feeling a lot better with himself. Corey Jones, 2 goals now. His best effort against Sydney, 3. He's done it 3 times, including round 6 last season. McIntosh has been a force. So too Simpson, hacked out of there by Jolly. Buchanan. Now Goods. Can he rise to the occasion? They need him. He gallops away, and that was a galloping motion. Searching kick. Loose at the back. Davis. Can he finish? Can he get the footy? Did well. Knocked it to Moore. And Moore has kicked it behind.
He deserves a goal then, because his courage actually enabled them to win the ball in the first time. Good tap there by Nick Davis. He's such a clever player.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? But a problem now. Rawlings, a blue collar man, drives it down towards half forward. Richards pushes across the line. It was a good kick coming out for Rito. Found Rawlings about 20 metres outside the 50. So a long kick with precision, and suddenly the ball at the other end.
The wrong end from the Swans' point of view. They've only been inside 50 once in this final term. Handball by Rawlings over the line. And you do feel it's a Goods that can turn it now. Someone who can run the lines hard and break the lines. Power did well to actually get a little kick forward. Thompson, Barry had his hands there. Simpson's handball terrific. Jones and up and under. Campbell there. This is where he's dangerous. They're going to have to put him down. Campbell kicks across the face, and McVeigh takes the mark. You do feel as if the Kangaroos are 1 kick away from putting Sydney away in this match. So Buchanan out wide. Matner.
Not a lot of run here from Sydney.
Has to be very careful on his wrong side and finds Barlow.
They just haven't had anyone breaking the line, Sydney, have they? I mean, Kennelly's capable of doing that in the back half, but we haven't seen that this afternoon either.
What a funny combination, aren't they?
I'm just wondering if your mobile phone switched on for Michelle Pfeiffer, or where did you park your car today? How are you enjoying it?
There's only likelihood of one. What do they cost these days? About 150. Here's Bolton.
Be an expensive meal.
What are the chances of that, Bruce? You're a gambling man. On the outer side,
big odds.
It's taken by Bolton. People say, why Michelle Pfeiffer? Well, my daughter's 28. Here's Bird. You couldn't pick somebody lower than your daughter, could you, in terms of age? Here's Barlow alongside the centre circle towards half forward, stretching out. Missed though by White. In fact, it's Jolly. Bad rep for White. Jolly touched off the boot. Down towards the 50. Slung was Davis. Moore always prepared to put his body in. Over the top. Is that Hale? No, it's Thompson. And we'll have a ball up about 70 metres out from goal. So the clock is running on Sydney now. One thing they don't do is score that quickly.
McIntosh did pretty well.
kick to Adam Goods.
Adam, your kick.
You got two hands around him, Sam. Two arms around him.
So Sam Power, defended there. So Goods, kick wide, beautiful kick to O'Loughlin. My first instinct, Tim, was he actually misjudged the kick, but as soon as it got halfway in flight, you thought how clever it was.
Here's the free kick. Sam Power just wrapping his arms around Adam Goods.
These are the sorts of goals that O'Loughlin kicks, aren't they? I mean, they are precise. They're in the pocket. He's had plenty of time to think about it. It's a tough kick. Good goal from here earlier in the match. Sort of feel like they need this to have a chance. Not quite. A behind. He's had a nearly day, Mickey, hadn't he? He's had one of those nearly days. Nearly a good day, not quite.
It's a low percentage position to actually find yourself in. There's a free kick again. There's Sam Power with his arms wrapped around Adam Goods in the foreground. You'd like to see the umpires pay more of those free kicks because the star midfielders are being slowed at stoppages, just like we saw Power then.
Harding to Petrie. And you wonder about this game had Barry Hall been playing. No real firepower down there, and at times when they bang it in, no science in the build-up, and as a result they haven't been able to get a score, manufacture something out of nothing. Jude Bolton tackled close to the boundary line, and they're working him over. The umpire will ball it up right on the boundary.
They've only taken the ball inside 50 on 33 occasions, Sydney. I mean, that is, on a small ground like that, that is miserable. That's a miserable tally. North Melbourne have taken inside 41 times, and they average in the mid-50s.
Margin 15 points now. Hall, or rather Hale, slapped it down. Rawlings towards half forward. Now an opportunity for Thomas coming across to sides on the Shepherd. Wells played it inside the 50. Barry able to knock it away. Thomas is over the football. Barry is over him. And once again, umpire McLaren comes in to do the honours.
Barry's work here with his body again. Just an elbow in the back. I mean, technically that is a free kick, that, but he just does it so subtly, he gets away with it.
Gee, Wells had an opportunity there. And kick to the goal square. And Campbell in the front spot. And a kick coming in from Ferrito. For Thomas. Thank you, Dennis. So Thomas's kick in. So the Kangaroos deep in attack and with a handy lead on the board. Power back to Wells. You talked about him stepping up, Tim. Wells' high ball. Goods underneath it.
Well, Barry just got into a tangle there with Nathan Brown, locked him up. You could see out of the corner of his eye that Adam Goods was, and his kick got atrociously, but Adam Goods was going to be the player that took the mark. And they just need to clear the ball a lot better than that, Sydney, if they're going to make any inroads whatsoever into this lead that the Kangaroos have.
Well, Harvey's kick had to be precise. Campbell's read it well. Can go for goal. Touched on the line. Well done by Richards.
He just caressed that, though. He didn't kick through the ball then, Campbell. He just tried to guide it through and didn't get enough boot on it. A good result for Sydney to set up again, but they have had trouble clearing the ball from their kick-ins.
Now drama down there in the forward pocket. I think it may be Nathan Thompson. Trainers have rushed from everywhere as Sydney work it out. This is Barry. Thompson on his feet and being helped off the ground. He's hobbling on the other side. Sydney can't believe their bad luck. Thompson seems to be okay. Well, that's a remarkable recovery. One moment he was hopping off the ground, the next moment he's back into the action, and I'm sure a vast number of people here at the Dome feared the worst. Back after a knee reconstruction. Barlow, well done by Wells. Hale, who's been good. Ferrito's got it just outside the 50. Harris, head down, hand passes Goldwood. Swooping on the ball is Jones. He too tries a hand pass. Awkward one for Roberts Thompson. Thumped on by Jones. Kennelly stood up, got it to Bolton. Bird, Kennelly brings it out of defence and finds Jack.
And this is where they've got to find some run, don't they? Can they transfer the ball quickly? They haven't been able to do it all day. O'Keefe wide.
Well, that's a good mismatch for the Sydney Swans. Petrie picking up O'Keefe, but they just, it's great play by Petrie.
He has been fantastic. Here's danger. Campbell might take them on here. The handball over the top to Sansbury. Sansbury 50 out. Again a good smother, but Sansbury probably had to release it a bit earlier. And then Kennelly on the rebound. Ablett got it from O'Keefe. O'Loughlin the target. Did well with the body O'Loughlin, but Barlow couldn't quite get it. And Wells, look away, handball, didn't work. Moore got it from Barlow, kicks to full forward, and Ferrito has been terrific. Gee, the number 11's been well worn today, hasn't it?
With distinction, Bruce, to the outer side. McIntosh ambles away from McVeigh, a tired McVeigh. Goes down towards right half forward. Corey Jones almost off his chest and across the line.
They just can't find a target going into their forward line, Sydney.
Well, to all intents and purposes, Thompson seemed gone.
He knocked his knee in that collision.
As they say in the WWE, quick recuperative powers. McVeigh across to Matner. Matner didn't spot a man, didn't matter, bounced off him. Goes down towards half forward with a kick, slipping over Davis. Leading back is Lower. He's been okay, Lower. Takes on Davis and beats him, runs away, hand passes to his own advantage. Well done. Lower drives around the outer side. An exercise in slow motion as McIntosh comes to it. Controls it well. Kicks towards the attacking 50. Coming up down there was Grant. Bumped over was Thompson. And the ball spills out of bounds. And we'll have a throw in. Thompson met solidly by Barry, who thought out of bounds here was a good result.
Geez, that was a big win by Lower over Davis at the other end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Been disappointing, Davis again today.
Kirk, Gee Wells again almost, and then Goods. Well done to Bevan, who's been outstanding down back. To Buchanan, they're going to have to run it hard, trying to create this extra man as they come forward. Barlow, good looking kick off the boot. Can O'Loughlin work? No, they've been terrific to get back, and Petrie's kick looks okay. Ferrito, Buchanan, high tackle both. Now, Sinclair.
No, it's too high. Head over the footy. They had his head over the footy. He's allowed to pick the footy up.
It's a little bit of payback, I reckon, because it wasn't a Buchanan that put the coat hanger on Sinclair earlier today.
Was too.
So there you go. I reckon that's 1-1, don't you?
Wouldn't like to play on you, Bruce. You've got a good memory.
Well,
enough of the rush. You got the free kick. You're only going to turn it over. Free kick, Jess is back here, mate. Don't creep over.
good umpiring. So Buchanan. Well,
now all that's meant that there's been plenty of time for the Kangaroos to get back in numbers. It's a crowded forward line, and they've really struggled in this situation all day.
I'll state the bleeding obvious. They've got to get a goal very quickly, or else they're gone.
I'm with you. Barlow, Kennelly, clever, still going. Wells put down off the ball. Kennelly drives it long towards full forward. Big leap at the back, jolly. Kirk creates some space. O'Loughlin. Well, you asked for it, Bruce. Sound like Tommy Hanlon.
And the great thing about that play, apart from the obvious, which was the finish, was Kennelly just taking the players on outside the forward line. Here's the end result of that. He actually carried the ball another 20 metres forward, got that contest, a one-on-one contest. Terrific gather there by Kirk, and then a wonderful finish by O'Loughlin. How many times, Bruce, have we seen O'Loughlin kick goals like that at critical stages of games?
On numerous occasions. He plays the percentages so well, Mickey, doesn't he? And the veteran, well, there's life yet in the Swans.
Teddy Richards has gone forward too. I mean, they just need to be able to shake someone who can push up the ground and take a mark and find a winner.
Clearance is vital here. Kangaroos have had the best of them, particularly in this last quarter.
Come out the back, it's come out.
Kirk, great play.
And the Swans get that clearance. Buchanan to half forward. O'Keefe terrific. Here's Richards, who Tim talked about going forward. O'Keefe a left footer. Finds Jack. Didn't take the mark, but he gets to Bolton. Back to Jack. He's a left footer. Gives it all. He's got it. Loughlin's got it. And Mickey kicks it again. It's high. And he's got 3. And they've got 2 in a minute.
Why would you play on? Timmy marked it in the goal square.
He had the momentum, Dennis. He couldn't stop himself. Just watch this centre bounce clearance again. This was fantastic play by Kirk. Just watch this. Just hunting the ball, drags it out from underneath Harris, and then just enough to bubble the ball free. That's all they needed. They need to escape, and then we get the contest from O'Keefe. Sometimes goals are ugly in their making, but they're just as effective.
Just when you thought it was over, that man, Michael O'Loughlin, had other ideas. 3 goals this afternoon, Sydney, revealing they've got a plan B. 64-60. Still oodles of time, just under 7 minutes. Jolly goes at it with Hale, decisively by Jolly. Follows up, could have been pushed in the back. Buchanan into the path of Kirk. In comes Ablett. Well, a couple of high free kicks to Sydney there, nothing doing. Bolton digs it out of the middle. High ball to half forward. They come from every direction. Well done, Harvey, twice. Richards got to Buchanan. Oh, well stifled in the opposite direction by Simpson. Spills to Power. Gets a hand pass to Harding. Decides to run. Buchanan can't get to him. Harding's kick, though, to no one in particular. As it turned out, Jones got in the path of Grant. Kennelly to Matner. The hand pass comes across from Bevan. Taken by Bolton. Feeds it forward. Kirk, this game has come to life. Kennelly on the burst. McVeigh, a runner alongside. Barlow's got it now. Barlow takes off. One bounce. Wells is closing. Barlow is kicking. It's a behind.
And Barlow lost his head then as he ran forward too. O'Loughlin was on the beautiful lead, just pushing up to him. Great chase there by Wells. What about this bit of body play by Leo Barry? In a completely disadvantaged position, able to work his way back and spoil.
First kick coming up for Shannon Grant. Gee, that was end-to-end stuff. Great call, Dennis. Grant's kick to centre wing. Hale, did he give Goods a little push? He's been terrific, Hale. Here's Rawlings. Goods to chase him hard. Rawlings inside 50 over Bolton and Thomas. Barry will want the boundary line, I think. He was looking for a free.
No, it wasn't.
That was a great chase hit by Goods too. I mean, often you just see players going through the motion, just edged under the ball there, but his ability to get back and put some pressure on that kick.
So now North needing a goal just to get that little breathing space. Bolton couldn't quite get the handball to Kennelly.
In the back, fell over the top of him.
I'll tell you the one thing they're doing so well, and there's no surprise to him, they're getting their head over the ball, Sydney, in this last 5 minutes. How good they've been at that.
They're winning the contested ball. You're right, they're getting their head over the ball. They're winning the 50-50s. And that's been a hallmark of the way they've played on the Pooraroos.
Jolly, no free kick. Hale to Thompson to the pocket. He's made it tough. Bolton comes over the top, able to thump it away down there from Campbell. Roberts-Thompson to Kirk. He's at half-back. Matner, who'll keep their nerve. Roberts-Thompson, back to Kennelly. Just under 5 minutes remaining. That's an eternity to midfield. Jack has it.
He's
runners to either side.
Just Kennelly's running ability has been important in this last quarter.
Good kick. Jack found Bevan. Alongside the centre circles, O'Keefe on the move in his direction. He picked it beautifully, had the mismatch, run away from Hale, down towards the pocket. O'Loughlin is feeling it now. O'Loughlin takes on a would-be tackler, goes to Barlow, getting back Petrie, and why not? He's been a star.
Go back.
Gee, O'Loughlin did well. There was a poor kick by Barlow in the end.
He couldn't get enough on it. Nothing on up ahead.
So Harris, McVeigh to try and run at him, and he does, and corrals him now. Well done, McVeigh. Now Kennelly, who Tim talked about his importance in this last 10 minutes. Kept it in. Well, who can hold their nerve with these two teams? They've played the percentages, both teams, all day. Good kick from Bird to McVeigh. The momentum shift is certainly obvious. From the blue and white to the red and white in the last 10 minutes.
O'Keefe is running what? Absolutely ragged.
Good kick, good mark. Jolly, who kicked the opening goal of the match. You'd reckon he's just 5 metres too far out.
That's it, Darren, this is the mark.
Goods went early on the lead. O'Loughlin a focal point now, but more on the burst rather than the big mark. So Jolly kicks to the front of the goal square. O'Keefe a fly. Couldn't quite. Might kick the goal anyway. Doesn't. It was a set play really for O'Keefe because he can take a mark, can't he? He was the one he went for.
Who would have thought, Tim, this game could morph into what we're seeing now? So slow early on, and suddenly everything has been put on the table. Here's Grant. 2:45 remaining. His side up by 2 points. We were here last week and saw a tie.
We had a point result on Friday night. Our last 3 matches have been pretty close.
We bring it, don't we? There's McIntosh. McIntosh has been very good this afternoon. Settling it down. One false move, though. Could be dynamite. Taken on the other side by Barry. Bevan, they'll run at them again. It's a wave of red and white down the ground. Jolly just hesitates. Lets them run deeper. Comes back to Barry. Short one to Barlow is on. Goes to him now. Barlow. Thought for a moment. Might have gone over his head. Didn't. Here's Ablett. Confronted. Hesitates. 2 minutes on the clock. Ablett. Low and hard. Good kick. Bolton. Jude Bolton kicks towards half forward. It will run loose at the back. Who'll be first back? Watt is fast for a big man. Oh, clever. O'Keefe worked him off the line of the ball. Goes to Moore. Moore lines up and kicks another behind. I said this last week at the same time, about a minute 30 out. What price the draw?
Getting shorter by the minute, Dennis.
You said that too, Bruce.
I reckon O'Keefe should have actually taken the shot on goal himself. He was swinging around on his left boot just to invent a handball then.
Tim, perhaps he realised that so far this year he's kicked 4 goals, 12. He hasn't been very accurate.
Load up again here.
Jolly, more important to Ablett. Ablett's kick looks all right. Goods the target. Still with Goods. Can he create here? He was legged. Still Goods. The handball to Kirk. And the captain, Kirk. It's all square. Sydney was celebrating. We're going to tie right now.
They're not happy about the width of the line. Oh dear. Ferrino to McIntosh. Behind that goal, Seething is not believing. The ball out towards the boundary. Paddling him on his wells. In his pocket is Ablett. They both fall over. Close to the boundary line. Ablett kept it alive. Sinclair came in. No support though. Sydney have got the numbers. Matner driven back. Look out, Jack. Oh, upended by Hale. Loose ball in there. Umpire will ball it up.
Ran straight into a tackle.
With 39 seconds to go. And who would have thought? Back at the place. And the same result. Maybe.
How important this clearance is now. Which way does it go? Shannon Grant tied a toe poke. Harris held up.
And again.
Those odds are shortening, Dennis.
All right, lads, clear the way for me coming out.
Same day, same venue, Bruce. Remarkable.
Right now.
Straight out this way, clear the way.
They just have to be careful, Sydney, here, not to give a free kick away.
So any score wins for either team. But the Swans have got a bit more work to get it down to their end. Harris. It's those centimetres. Moore's quick kick. Thompson and McVeigh. Thompson's got it. The clock, the enemy now. He's got to bang it forward. A rush behind will do. Jones a target. He got a bit of a shove from Barry. They can't concede the Swans. Wells and Barry. The boundary line, is it? Yes.
His body work again.
Go ahead, Tim.
Leo Barry's body work again on Corey Jones. Just outstanding. He's fought his way back into this game, Leo Barry.
Good's a terrific play. We got a draw.
They've never drawn before, Bruce.
First time.
First time.
Well, very different to last week, though, I reckon, because last week you just felt like Richmond had it snatched away. So, a draw for the first time between the Kangaroos and the Swans. 64 apiece at the Dome. So, where's Ricky going right now? Who does he feel like the winner is? Oh, what a terrific finish in the last 10 minutes.
There's a Nathan Brown reaction.
Yeah, they didn't realise that it wasn't the draw, so Rawlings and Harvey, what a great shot, guys.
What is the matter with our players?